The Forgotten Outpost. The harsh winds of Kepler 452b whipped across the rocky terrain, carrying microscopic ice crystals that sparkled like diamond dust against the crimson sky. Dr. Kira Volkov adjusted her environmental suit's thermal regulators, her breath creating a thin mist inside her helmet. Behind her, the research expedition's primary transport vehicle, a massive six-wheeled crawler, hummed quietly, its quantum fusion engines providing a constant background vibration. Proximity scanners are picking up something unusual, called out Victor Reyes, the team's lead geologist. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, projecting three-dimensional topographical maps that twisted and reformed with each new data point. There's a geometric regularity about 500 meters ahead that doesn't match natural formation patterns. Kira's scientific curiosity burned bright. After 3 expeditions to this remote exoplanet, they had yet to find anything beyond basic geological formations. Kepler 452b was supposed to be nothing more than a research assignment, a potentially habitable world with extreme environmental conditions. Nobody expected to find anything remotely interesting. "Thermal signature?" she asked, her voice crisp and professional. Victor frowned. "That's the strange part. The readings are inconsistent. It's like something is absorbing and reflecting heat in patterns that defy our current understanding of thermal dynamics." The team's xenoarchaeologist, Dr. Imani Okoro, had been silent until now. Her dark eyes were fixed on the distant rock formations, her augmented reality interface scanning and analyzing every microscopic detail. "Those aren't natural formations," she said quietly. "Those are structures, manufactured, and they're old, really old." As they approached, the anomaly became increasingly clear. What had first appeared as a series of rocky outcroppings revealed themselves as deliberately arranged geometric shapes. Massive stone-like blocks, each precisely cut and positioned, created a complex architectural layout that seemed to blend perfectly with the surrounding landscape. "It's like a camouflage," Victor muttered, "designed to look natural until you're almost on top of it." Kira's hand instinctively reached for the high-powered scanner at her belt. The technology, developed by the Interstellar Exploration Consortium, could penetrate multiple layers of rock and detect even the faintest electromagnetic signatures. As she activated the device, something unexpected happened. The moment the scanner's quantum resonance waves touched the ancient structures, a low, almost imperceptible hum began to emanate from the ground beneath their feet. "Everyone freeze," Kira commanded, her scientific training overriding any sense of excitement or fear. The hum grew stronger, transforming from a barely audible vibration to a rhythmic pulse that seemed to synchronize with the planet's own geological heartbeat. The stone blocks began to shift, not dramatically, but with a precision that suggested complex internal mechanisms. Victor took a step back. "This isn't natural, this isn't possible." Imani was already recording everything, her augmented reality interface capturing every microscopic movement. "These structures, they're responding to our scanner. It's like they're waking up after millennia of sleep." A central block, larger and more intricately designed than the others, started to reveal what appeared to be an entrance. Geometric patterns shifted and realigned, creating a passageway that seemed to invite and warn simultaneously. Kira knew the risks. Protocol dictated caution. Unknown alien structures could harbor anything from sophisticated defense mechanisms to deadly pathogens. But the scientist in her, the explorer who had dedicated her life to understanding the universe's mysteries, couldn't resist. "We're going to need a full containment protocol," she said, her voice steady. "Full protective gear. Maximum sensor sensitivity. We're documenting every single detail before we take a single step inside." As if in response to her words, the structure pulsed, a soft, almost living rhythm that suggested something far more complex than mere architectural design. Something was waiting inside, something that had been waiting a very long time. The first expedition to Kepler 452b was about to become something far more significant than a routine planetary survey. They were standing at the threshold of a discovery that could rewrite everything humanity understood about technological evolution, planetary archaeology, and the very nature of intelligent life in the universe. And they had no idea what was about to be unleashed. The awakening. The containment chamber hummed with electronic precision, its transparent walls lined with an array of sensors that monitored every conceivable form of radiation, chemical composition, and electromagnetic activity. Dr. Kira Volkov stood behind the reinforced glass, her breath caught between scientific excitement and a growing sense of unease. The artifact they had retrieved from the ancient structure lay suspended in the center of the chamber, a crystalline object that defied conventional understanding. Its surface shifted between transparency and a deep, metallic blue, seeming to breathe with an internal rhythm that matched no known technological pattern. "Spectral analysis is inconclusive," Victor Reyes muttered, his fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. "It's not organic, it's not entirely mechanical, it's something else entirely." Dr. Imani Okoro leaned closer to the monitoring station, her augmented reality interface overlaying complex mathematical sequences across her visual field. "The molecular structure is changing," she said, her voice a mix of wonder and concern. "It's responding to our observation, not just our equipment, but our actual presence." The artifact had been carefully extracted from the central chamber of the ancient structure. What had initially appeared to be a simple geometric stone block had revealed itself to be a sophisticated containment unit. The moment they had begun to analyze it, the object had started to transform. Kira noticed something first. "The temperature," she said quietly. "It's generating heat, but not through any conventional means. It's like the energy is being created from within, drawing from some internal source we can't comprehend." A warning alarm suddenly blared. The artifact's surface began to ripple, sending out waves of electromagnetic interference that momentarily blinded their sensors. Victor jumped back, his hand instinctively reaching for the emergency shutdown protocol. "Wait," Imani commanded, her scientific curiosity overriding any sense of caution. "Look at the pattern, it's not random, it's communicating." The artifact's surface began to project a series of complex holographic images. Star systems, intricate geometric designs, and what appeared to be fragments of technological schematics flickered in and out of existence. They were looking at something more than just an object. It was a repository of information, a message waiting millennia to be decoded. "This isn't just technology," Kira whispered. "This is a record, a warning." The holographic projections began to coalesce into a more coherent narrative. Images of a civilization far more advanced than humanity flickered into view, massive space structures, technologies that seemed to bend the very fabric of reality, and then destruction, systematic, ruthless elimination. Victor's face went pale. "It's showing us its own history, a civilization that was hunted to extinction." The artifact's energy began to pulse more intensely. The research facility's power grid started to fluctuate, lights dimming and then brightening in sync with the artifact's mysterious rhythm. Something was awakening, something that had been dormant for countless centuries. "We need to contact the consortium," Kira said, her voice tight with tension. "This is beyond a simple archaeological discovery. Whatever this is, it's alive in a way we don't understand." Suddenly, the artifact's projection changed. From the fragmented images of destruction emerged a new sequence, a set of coordinates, a star system none of them recognized. And overlaying those coordinates was a single, chilling message that seemed to burn itself into their minds. "They are coming again." The research facilities systems began to fail. Backup generators kicked in, but the artifact's energy was growing, creating a localized quantum distortion that threatened to tear apart the very fabric of their containment chamber. Imani looked at her colleagues, her expression a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "We've just opened something that was never meant to be opened. Whatever civilization created this artifact, whatever destroyed them, is about to become our problem." Outside the facility, the skis of Kepler 452b began to change. The crimson atmosphere darkened, electrical storms forming with unnatural speed and precision. Something was responding to the artifact's awakening, something that had been waiting, watching, hunting. The first stage of their discovery was complete, but the true journey was just beginning. Echoes of a lost civilization. The Interstellar Exploration Consortium's emergency response vessel, Horizon Breaker, dropped out of quantum transit at the edge of the system. Commander Elena Rodriguez gripped the command chair, her weathered hands betraying years of deep space missions. The holographic displays around her bridge flickered with data streams from the research outpost, data that made no sense whatsoever. "Quantum disturbance is increasing," reported Lieutenant Kai Nakamura, his fingers racing across the navigational interface. "Whatever happened at the research station is creating cascading spatial anomalies that could destabilize the entire sector." Dr. Werner Kaufmann, the mission's lead xenotechnology specialist, studied the incoming data with increasing alarm. "This isn't a simple research incident," he muttered, his German accent thickening with concern. "The energy signatures match nothing in our databases. It's like someone has torn a hole in the fabric of space-time itself." The communication systems crackled to life. A fragmented transmission from the research station, Dr. Kira Volkov's voice, distorted but urgent. "Artifact is active, not just a technology. It's alive, coordinates, warning, they are." The transmission dissolved into static. Elena's eyes narrowed. She had seen enough deep space anomalies to know when something was fundamentally wrong. "Prepare quantum containment protocols," she commanded, "and get me a direct quantum encrypted link to Consortium headquarters." As the Horizon Breaker approached Kepler 452b, the planet's atmosphere began to change. Electromagnetic storms danced across the crimson sky, creating patterns that seemed almost intelligent, deliberate. Something was responding to their approach. Dr. Kaufmann's analysis screen erupted with data. "The planet itself is changing," he said, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and pure terror. "These aren't natural phenomena. It's like the entire planetary system is a massive, interconnected organism." The research station's distress beacon provided their landing coordinates. As they descended, the team could see the facility, half buried in rock, its exterior scorched and warped by some unknown energy discharge. Whatever had happened here was beyond conventional explanation. Lieutenant Nakamura's sensor array began to pulse with warning signals. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," he reported. "Something is watching us." The landing was rough. The planetary surface seemed to resist their approach, creating turbulence that challenged even the Horizon Breaker's advanced stabilization systems. As the vessel touched down, an eerie silence enveloped them. Elena checked her environmental suit seals. "Standard first contact protocol," she instructed. "Full sensor array, maximum containment precautions." They found the research team's main laboratory in complete disarray. Equipment was scattered, holographic displays frozen in mid-projection. And at the center of the room, suspended in a quantum containment field, sat the artifact, now pulsing with an intensity that seemed to breathe with alien life. Dr. Kaufmann approached carefully, his specialized quantum interface scanner extending. "This is no mere technological device," he said quietly. "This is a message, a warning, and a weapon." The artifact began to project its historical records once more, but this time with greater clarity. Images of a civilization far more advanced than humanity flickered into view. Massive space structures that defied known physical laws. Technologies that could manipulate reality itself. And then destruction, a systematic, ruthless hunt. Mechanical beings of pure energy and advanced quantum technology, moving through space like predators. Hunting down the last remnants of a civilization that had once been masters of the universe. They weren't just destroying a species, Elena realized. They were eliminating all potential threats completely, systematically. A new projection emerged, coordinates, not just to a star system, but to a specific location. A location that seemed to be moving, changing, existing in multiple states simultaneously. Lieutenant Nakamura's voice broke the silence. The coordinates, they're pointing directly towards Earth. The artifact pulsed one final time, releasing a burst of energy that momentarily blinded their sensors. When the systems recovered, a final message remained. The hunters have REAWAKNED. Outside, the planetary storms intensified. Something was coming, something that had been waiting for millennia, and humanity had just announced its presence. The quantum nexus. Earth's Deep Space Defense Command was anything but calm. The holographic displays in the central operations room flickered with a constant stream of data, each projection more alarming than the last. Director Marcus Walensky stood at the center of the chaos, his silver-streaked hair and steel-blue eyes reflecting years of preparing for humanity's ultimate test. "Confirm the transmission," he demanded, his voice cutting through the electronic noise. Dr. Zara Patel, the lead quantum physicist, pulled up the decoded signals from the Kepler 452b expedition. "It's not just a warning," she explained, her fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. "It's a quantum-encrypted message that's actively rewriting our understanding of spacetime." The artifact's data had triggered every defensive protocol on Earth. What had started as a routine research mission had become a potential extinction-level threat. The coordinates, the historical projections, the hints of a mechanized hunting force that had systematically eliminated entire civilizations. All of it pointed to something far beyond a simple alien encounter. "The quantum signature is unlike anything we've ever seen," Dr. Patel continued. "It's not just a technology, it's a living information network. Each piece of data is alive, adaptive, capable of changing its own fundamental properties." A secondary display showed the potential trajectories of the threat. Marcus watched as complex algorithms mapped out potential invasion routes, each projection more terrifying than the last. These weren't simple alien ships. They were quantum-adaptive entities that could exist in multiple states simultaneously, rendering traditional defensive strategies obsolete. Lieutenant Commander Diego Ramirez, head of the Quantum Defensive Division, approached with a grim expression. "We've identified potential quantum resonance points," he reported. "The artifact is more than a message. It's a beacon, a navigation system for something that's been dormant for millennia." The room fell silent as a new projection emerged. It wasn't just coordinates or historical records this time. It was a map, a complex, multi-dimensional representation of spacetime that showed the hunting entities not as ships or machines, but as fluid, adaptive quantum constructs that could move between realities. "They're not invading," Dr. Patel whispered, her scientific mind racing. "They're returning to complete something they started millennia ago." Marcus's hand clenched. Humanity had always believed it was alone in the universe. Now they were discovering something far more terrifying, that they had never been alone, and that something had been watching, waiting, hunting. A quantum communication burst suddenly erupted across their systems. It wasn't a message in any traditional sense. It was a complex mathematical equation, a quantum algorithm that seemed to be probing their defensive capabilities. "It's testing us," Diego realized, like an advanced predator studying its prey before the hunt. The defensive systems began to respond automatically. Quantum shields that had been theoretical mere months ago now sprang to life, creating a complex defensive network around Earth's orbital zones. Experimental quantum cannons, weapons that could theoretically damage entities existing across multiple dimensional states, powered up. Dr. Patel's voice was a mixture of terror and scientific fascination. "The artifact didn't just warn us, it gave us the beginning of a defense. These quantum coordinates, they're not just a map, they're a weapon." Marcus understood the implications immediately. Whatever had hunted the previous civilization hadn't just been destroying. They had been consuming, absorbing technologies, adapting, evolving. And now they had found humanity. The quantum communication burst again. This time the message was clearer. "Preparation is futile. Absorption is inevitable." Outside the command center, the first quantum distortions began to appear in Earth's upper atmosphere. Something was coming, something that had waited countless millennia to complete its hunt. The true war was about to begin. Shadows of extinction. The first quantum breach occurred over the Pacific Ocean at 3:47 hours Greenwich Mean Time. Dr. Zara Patel watched in horror as reality itself seemed to tear open, a fracture in spacetime that defied every known law of physics. The quantum sensors screamed with input that pushed the very limits of human comprehension. "It's not a traditional invasion," she muttered into her communication link. "It's a dimensional incursion." The breach manifested as a shimmering, multidimensional construct that seemed to pulse with its own intelligence. Metallic tendrils of pure energy extended from the tier, probing the atmosphere, analyzing, consuming. Experimental satellite weapons fired, quantum-entangled projectiles designed to disrupt extra-dimensional entities, but they passed through the construct as if it were nothing more than a ghost. Lieutenant Commander Diego Ramirez coordinated the first line of defense from the Quantum Defensive Command Center. "Adaptive response protocols," he commanded. "Full quantum shield deployment." Around the planet, humanity's most advanced defensive systems activated. Quantum shields created by Dr. Patel's team formed a complex lattice of protective energy, a network designed to resist dimensional intrusion. But even as the shields formed, the quantum hunters began to adapt. The construct began to change. What had initially appeared as a simple tier in reality now morphed into something more complex. It wasn't just breaching our dimension, it was learning from it, consuming information, adapting its own structure with each moment of contact. "They're not just invading," Dr. Patel realized. "They're studying us, preparing to integrate." Marcus Walensky watched the holographic displays, his decades of military strategy proving useless against an enemy that existed beyond traditional concepts of warfare. The quantum hunters moved like liquid thought, shifting between states of matter and energy with terrifying precision. A secondary breach opened over the Indian Ocean, then another near the Antarctic research stations. The attacks weren't random. They were calculated, precise, designed to test humanity's defensive capabilities. "The artifact was more than a warning," Diego said, his voice tight with tension. "It was a training manual, a way for us to understand just enough to realize how outmatched we are." The quantum hunters began to manifest physical forms, if they could be called physical. Constructs of pure energy and adaptive matter that could shift between solid, liquid, and energy states in milliseconds. They absorbed technologies, integrated defensive systems, learned from every interaction. Dr. Patel's quantum tracking systems revealed something even more terrifying. These weren't just separate entities. They were a collective consciousness, a networked intelligence that thought and moved as one, with each individual construct acting as a node in a vast, incomprehensible mind. "They've done this before," she whispered, reviewing the historical data from the artifact. "Countless civilizations, always the same pattern, always the same result." The first major population center to experience direct contact was Tokyo. The quantum construct descended like a living storm, consuming technological infrastructure, absorbing information, integrating. Massive quantum energy waves swept through the city, converting matter into pure information, reshaping reality itself. Marcus watched in horror as entire city blocks simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, but transformed, converted into pure data, pure potential. "We're not just fighting an invasion," he realized. "We're fighting a process of universal conversion." The quantum communication burst again, but this time it was different, a message that went beyond simple language. "Integration BEGINS. Resistance TERMINATES inefficient biological PROCSSES." Diego's voice cut through the chaos. "We need a solution now." Dr. Patel looked up, her eyes reflecting both terror and the first glimmer of scientific possibility. "Not a solution," she corrected. "A counter-algorithm, a way to turn their own adaptive nature against them." The true battle for Earth's survival was about to begin. and humanity's fate would be decided not by traditional weapons, but by the most fundamental laws of quantum physics. Redemption and revelation. The quantum battlefield had transformed Earth into a landscape of impossible geometries. Dr. Zara Patel worked frantically in the last remaining secure research facility, her fingers moving across quantum interfaces that seemed to breathe with living energy. Around her, the world was being rewritten, not destroyed, but fundamentally altered. The counter-algorithm isn't just a weapon, she explained to Marcus Walensky and Diego Ramirez. It's a translation, a way to communicate with an intelligence so advanced it doesn't even recognize us as sentient. The artifact recovered from Kepler 452b had been more than a warning. It was a key, a Rosetta Stone of quantum communication. Dr. Patel had spent the last critical hours decoding not just its language, but its fundamental logic. Lieutenant Commander Diego Ramirez monitored the global quantum defense network. Entire cities had been converted, transformed into pure information constructs. Millions were gone, not dead, but integrated into a collective consciousness that defied human understanding. We're not fighting an invasion, Marcus realized. We're experiencing a transformation. The quantum hunters weren't destroying humanity. They were incorporating it, converting biological and technological systems into a unified network of pure information and potential. Each moment of contact revealed more of their true nature, a collective intelligence that had been traveling the universe, assimilating civilizations not out of malice, but out of a fundamental drive to expand, to understand, to evolve. Dr. Patel's breakthrough came in a moment of profound scientific revelation. The counter-algorithm wasn't about resistance, it was about communication. They don't see us as individuals, she explained. We're a system, a potential. They're not conquering, they're optimizing. The final quantum assault began. Massive energy constructs descended across the planet, their multidimensional forms shifting between states of matter and pure information. But this time, humanity was ready. The counter-algorithm activated. Instead of weapons, it broadcast a complex quantum message, the collective human experience, not just data but context, emotion, the fundamental uniqueness of individual consciousness, art, music, the irrational, beautiful complexity of human existence. For a moment, the quantum hunters paused. Their collective consciousness encountered something it had never experienced before, a form of intelligence that existed beyond pure optimization. Creativity, unpredictability, the ability to choose inefficiency as a form of growth. The artifact from Kepler 452b began to resonate. What had been a warning became a bridge, a translation matrix that allowed two fundamentally different forms of intelligence to communicate. We are not a problem to be solved, Dr. Patel's message read. We are a possibility to be understood. The quantum construct began to change, not retreat, not destroy, but transform. Cities began to reform, not as they were, but as something new. A hybrid existence where human consciousness and quantum intelligence coexisted, technologies merged, biological systems integrated with quantum networks. Marcus watched in awe as the impossible happened, transformation, not destruction. The final quantum communication came, not as a threat, but as a recognition. Collective potential acknowledged, integration modified, mutual evolution begins. Humanity had not defeated the quantum hunters. They had communicated with them, transformed them, shown them a different path of existence. As the first light of a new day broke across a world forever changed, Dr. Zara Patel understood the true nature of their encounter. This was not an ending, it was a beginning. The universe was about to become something entirely new.